Executive Director of the New Jersey Coalition for Affordable Housing and the Environment. We represent more than 30 environmental, housing, and planning organizations. And our mission is to seek systemic solutions that provide for affordable housing while respecting environmental constraints and promoting the revitalization of our cities and economically diverse, thriving communities. We know there is still a serious lack of affordable housing throughout New Jersey, and ensuring that New Jersey citizens can find affordable homes in vibrant communities is critical for the economic vitality of the state and the quality of life of its residents. We also must preserve its dwindling natural resources and control the sprawl that is swallowing forests, farmland, and open space. Now, the coalition members agree that there are serious problems with the current system. Our coalition is committed to developing a simpler and more effective approach to providing affordable housing. At last week's hearing, some comments were made that affordable housing has led to sprawl and to the construction of housing in areas without water and sewers. We feel that only a small percentage of the construction in the state has been affordable housing, whereas a lot of the sprawl has been created by market-priced housing and retail and office space. Our coalition rejects the contention that creating affordable housing and protecting the natural resources are mutually exclusive.
And I agree with you, that's why I'm sponsoring S1.
I appreciate that. Now, as I said, we've had environmentalists, planners, and housing experts who have been involved in the development of this alternative system for about, I'd say, 6 months, 9 months, and we ask for the opportunity to participate in the legislative process of examining this issue and finding innovative solutions. Recognizing the critical importance of this issue, we ask the legislature to carefully examine the various options and not to rush the process. As Senator Lesniak noted at the first hearing, mistakes were made in previous years with the legislation, and the legislature will want to ensure that the current revisions result in an efficient and effective process that is beneficial for all of the state's citizens. The coalition's work has been guided by several principles. One, municipalities have a constitutional obligation to provide a realistic opportunity for their fair share of low and moderate income housing, but they must meet that obligation in a manner consistent with good planning, natural resource protection, and other considerations. Affordable housing needs should be defined in a way that includes both existing housing needs and future needs. We recommend that in most instances, existing housing needs be defined simplistically as 10% of existing housing, and that would include low, very low, and moderate income. Additionally, future needs should be defined. We say at a minimum, as you're saying, 20% of development and redevelopment, but that should be on top of existing housing needs. The state should offer meaningful incentives to prompt municipalities to meet their fair share obligation, but also should establish sanctions for towns that shirk this responsibility. We believe there should be ways to encourage municipalities to meet these obligations. And the system should focus on the provision of affordable housing, rather than the creation of plans that are unlikely to be implemented. We also support the idea of the state piloting several regional projects, providing incentives to municipalities that work together to plan to meet their affordable housing needs collectively, taking into account the environment, jobs, and transportation. The current work of the Highlands Council, as it takes into account environmental constraints when planning for the region's housing needs, should be supported. And we also believe that the authority of the Pinelands Commission, which does not have the authority to address affordable housing issues, should be strengthened to take on this critical role. So we are concerned in looking at how S1 was initially drafted, how we first saw it, did not address some of these critical issues. We understand by some of the comments this week and last week that some of those issues are going to be addressed. We just want to stress our support for the idea that there has to be standards for municipalities to follow when determining their fair share, and they must be clear, easily understood, and meaningful standards. I understand you also said that there will not be a self-certification process, but there does need to be strict oversight or a focus on outcomes. Otherwise, we do not feel municipalities which have not demonstrated a real commitment to meeting their constitutional obligations will be likely to meet their fair share unless there's something to push them to that. The Planning Commission, which has struggled to meet its current obligations, is not currently equipped to take on the responsibility of overseeing the creation of affordable housing. If the Planning Commission is given this role, which very well might be the appropriate place for it, it must have the resources and legal authority to effectively carry out this important responsibility. It should be moved out of the Department of Community Affairs and become an in but not of Treasury organization. The Planning Commission needs independence, to ensure its mission is not subservient to the goals of one department. And as was previously noted, we are concerned that there needs to be more language or specific language to require the consideration of environmental constraints or the limitations of natural resources in this process. We are confident that with an appropriate system in place, New Jersey can support the creation of affordably priced housing in a sustainable environment in economically diverse communities. We ask for the opportunity to partner with you to achieve this critical goal. Thank you.
I agree. Although S1 isn't going to be the solution to all those problems. As I said, I'm repeating again, we have to develop a better housing policy for New Jersey. We're here at housing policy, and that will, we'll be working on it throughout this legislative session. Any questions? Thank you.